Welcome back, everybody. This is an episode that I've been waiting a while to make, not just because my order from Acme Tools got split up into like 5 different deliveries, but also because I've been really anticipating sharing my thoughts with you. But I'd like to just start out with the tools. So, as you can see, these are some of the most beautiful tools in the world. The fit and finish is spectacular. Just by looking at it, it's a work of art. These pliers are finished so beautifully. It's almost to a mirror finish. I mean, you put your finger on there and it leaves a fingerprint behind. They're just such fantastic tools. That beautiful logo, Malco, DeWitt, Nebraska, and just the big Eagle Grip made in the USA. Just a spectacular finish on these pliers. If you've seen Project Farm's video on locking pliers, you know that the teeth are just far and away the strongest teeth out of any other locking pliers in the world. They took like 1,100 foot-pounds of pressure on the jaws and teeth before anything broke. Just incredibly strong, machined out of just the best steel in the world. They've got this Allen key at the back so you can tighten down on your workpiece. But the most important feature is that unlike the old locking pliers, I'll show you a pair of the old Peterson locking pliers here. I only have the 7-inch here, but you can see under the screw where the stamped metal meets together at the base of the screw here, it's just sort of pinched together, and sometimes you'll see what looks like a little bit of a weld. On the Knipex, you'll see a little glob weld, but this is the weak point. This is the weak point on the old Peterson made in the USA locking pliers. And, they're very high quality pliers, but that's the weak point. If you really torque down with a lot of pressure, the screw will oftentimes pop that pinch point. So what Malco did was they came up with this thing that they call the power ring, and it's this sleeve that they put around that collar, or a collar around that pinch point that just gives it immense strength. So you can just really reef down with way more torque than the previous model. So it's just an immensely improved product. When I heard that Malco was going to close down their plant in DeWitt, Nebraska, I immediately went out and ordered 4 of the curved jaw locking pliers, the 10-inch LP 10WC. I ordered 3 of those from Acme Tools, as well as a 7-inch straight jaw and 7-inch curved jaw, and then also a 10-inch flat jaw. And for some reason they chopped up my order into multiple deliveries, and it ended up taking a couple weeks. But initially I was so afraid that they were just going to cancel my order and that they wouldn't fill it, because the statement from Malco was that, hey, we're going to close the plant down essentially by the end of the year, and what we have left of our inventory is all you're going to get. So I was afraid that Acme wasn't going to fill my order, so I immediately went over to Amazon and I ordered a couple of the 10-inch curved jaw pliers from Amazon as well. So thankfully, both of them ended up coming through. And incidentally, I also went to my Snap-on guy and I said, hey, do you have any information about Malco? Snap-on was Malco's #1 client. Initially, when they opened in 2017, they began producing these locking pliers exclusively for Snap-on. So, and actually, they only began selling to the public under the Malco brand about a little over a year ago. So, you know, the vast majority of these that are out there are Snap-on branded, not Malco. So, yeah, I went to my Snap-on dealer and I said, hey, you have any of these Snap-on locking pliers? Because, you know, they're going out of business. And he was totally oblivious to it. He's like, oh, yeah, I've got these swivel pad ones. Oh, they're 30% off. I'm like, well, I'll definitely take one of them. But just so you know, Malco's closing the plant down. So you're probably going to start running short of inventory here pretty soon. And he was totally oblivious to it. So I know that CP, the Tool Addict, has said that his Snap-on guy thinks that Snap-on is going to buy the old Malco plant. He seems pretty convinced of it, but I'll tell you this, I'm pretty sure that only about 5 to 10 people in the world know what's going to happen to that plant in DeWitt, Nebraska. Whether Snap-on buys it, or it goes up for sale and maybe somebody else buys it, or it just sits fallow for 8 or 9 years like it did last time. I mean, when Irwin, the original locking pliers company, moved the operation over to China, the factory sat fallow from 2008 until 2017. And when Malco reopened it, you know, they hired back a lot of the workers and reopened and retooled the facility. But there's a very good chance that it may never open up again, or it may sit for 5 or 10 years before either Snap-on or someone else comes in and reopens it. I really don't know what's going to happen to this company. It's very unfortunate. It's only about 60-some employees at the Eagle Grip facility. If you look at the town there in Nebraska, I mean, you can see it's a one factory town. You know, when you take away 60 jobs out of a town like that, you're killing the town. You're killing an American manufacturing town, which is very unfortunate. So it really remains to be seen what's going to happen. I mean, I know that Snap-on wants to procure the best tools in the industry. They want the best at the best. And with Malco shutting down this facility, it's a major question of, are they going to go in and put down the probably several $1 million it would take to purchase the facility, to get it up and running again, and continue purchasing these pliers? Or will they go back to their old stamped metal pliers like this? This is their LP series, LP 10WR. These are made in Spain. You can see they're made in Spain. These pliers are good, but they're not the same quality as the Malcos. I mean, like I was talking about, that power ring on the back of the pliers, you can see it's just that same like glob weld, or just the pinch point, where, you know, you're not going to be able to put as much pressure on these as you will the Malcos. I don't know about Spanish steel, but I think that the Malcos definitely have stronger steel. So that's the question, you know, does Snap-on just go back to making their locking pliers overseas in Spain? Or do they purchase the facility in DeWitt, Nebraska? Nobody really knows. But, I mean, even with what CP said with his truck guy, you know, it's all just speculation at this point. That said, I want to talk a little bit about USA manufacturing. And I'll do it just briefly because I'm going to do another video that goes more in depth into it. These pliers are $50 a piece. These larger swivel pad ones are like 70 or 80. The Snap-on ones, I paid $85 for these on the truck. These are very expensive tools. And I've heard a lot of people online saying, oh, you're insane if you spend that much. I can go to Harbor Freight and get the Bremens for $11 or $12 each. Yeah, you can buy Chinese, foreign-made locking pliers. And yeah, they'll probably hold up for most of what you put them through. Yeah, you'll probably never wear them out or whatever. And yeah, you know, maybe spending $50 per tool is just far and away way more than what the average person's going to need to spend. But this closure of this plant, this is an important thing. Spending this amount of money on American-made, extremely high-quality tools, some of the best tools that have ever been made in the world ever. This is a big deal. And I got news for you. This whole supply chain of just being able to buy Chinese garbage for pennies on the dollar, the time is ticking. This is not going to last forever. And like I said, I'm going to do another video about this that's going to probably get a little bit more political. But if you think you're just going to be able to buy Chinese garbage indefinitely and that there aren't going to be strings attached in the future, I got news for you. Your Amazon Prime click and buy Chinese garbage, the clock's ticking on that. It is not going to last forever. There is going to come a day when the supply chain coming from China to the United States is going to get disrupted. And you are not going to be able to acquire Chinese garbage for pennies on the dollar. And there will come a day when high-quality tools like these Malco Eagle Grips are going to be in extremely short supply and high demand. So that the price that you pay, $50 per locking plier here, oh, there's going to be a lot of people lining up to pay that when that day comes. Because there are things going on overseas that are going to fundamentally change the way we acquire products here in the United States, especially related to tools. And if you've been paying attention to the headlines recently, you know that our pathway, our supply chain from Taiwan is it's in peril, to say the least. But with these Malco Eagle Grips, you're getting the finest quality. You're getting lifelong pliers. These pliers will outlive you. They will last 100, 200 years if you take care of them. If you keep them oiled and keep them dry, these pliers will outlast any human being. So I'm happy to spend, $50 a piece. I'll be honest with you, I did what any responsible American did, and I immediately pulled out my credit card and purchased all of these pliers on my credit card like a responsible American, Yes, they are very expensive. But what you're buying is you're buying the highest quality known to man. And you're buying an American worker, an American wage. You're paying for a facility run by free people, not by communist slaves. You're purchasing a piece of history. This is history. If you take care of these pliers, they will last you. They will last you and your children and your children's children 200 years. I've got a pair here that were totally rusted. And even though they were in horrible shape, I was able to restore them, and I used a file to grind out the teeth so that the teeth could have a second life. And I'll tell you what, if you don't have a pair of these locking pliers in your inventory, I suggest you immediately get on Acme Tools, Amazon, any of the websites that sell these tools, and you get them while you can. Because there is a very high chance that this is the high watermark of locking pliers in history, that these may never be made again. So get them while you can. I'm going to be coming with another video in the future talking about USA-made tools, about high-quality tools versus Asian-made, lower-cost tools. So we'll deal with that when we cross that bridge. But in the meantime, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.